What's missing is having you first, treating yourself like you matter, like you deserve to own some of the money you're earning. And that's all. It's just put yourself first in line. Take some percentage. I don't care where you start.
I want to focus on the concept of setting money aside, because I know for a fact, because I try to get people to do it, that people struggle with it, especially if they think they've got a low income. They really don't allow themselves to put away at least 10% of the money they earn into either a savings account or in a cardboard box. Like I actually used to, when I used to make about $1,000 a month, I put away $100 into $100 into a box from a Nokia phone. Like I would just take $100 and literally put it in the box, right? And it's funny, on such a low income, I was still able to save a lot more money than my brother that had two incomes of his own and his wife's income, making about $7,000 or $8,000 US back in Israel. So, and they were constantly in debt all the time. And I was like, dude, you don't understand. You need to put away 10% of what you make. It's like, no, how can I? I got this debt, this, and I got, kids need new clothes, that, and whatever. And I couldn't get through to him, like, how would you reframe this for people?
That's one of the things that I talk about. And when someone has that feeling, it's their mind playing games with them, and it's not true, but they do think that way. And I don't know if I discovered it or created it, but there's a rule of thumb that works beautifully for everyone. I don't care if they have children. I don't care what their situation is. If they set aside 10%, it's not going to change their life. I had a building contractor who said, I can't put away anything. And I said, are you trying to tell me if you put away 1% of the gross revenue that comes in to your business, you couldn't do that? He said, well, 1%. I mean, it's next to nothing. It's like if he gets a $10,000 check for his work, he puts away $100. Okay. I said, you're not going to miss that 1%. Believe me. So he said, okay, fine, I'll try it. Well, he realized it was pain-free. And the 1% became 2%, became 3%. It kept growing. Within 6 months, he had $50,000 he saved from the revenue that came in. So the example I use for people is, think of it this way. You've got all these bills that come in. You're paying your bills. Let's say the phone bill comes in 1 month and it's $100. You pay it in full. If the phone bill comes in the next month and it's $150, you don't call the phone company and say, excuse me, but last month it was 100, this month it's 150. Please just forgive the $50. I can't pay that. No, you find some way to pay the whole $150. It comes from somewhere. You don't know where it comes from, but you make it happen. You pay all your bills in full. What's missing is having you first, treating yourself like you matter, like you deserve to own some of the money you're earning. And that's all. It's just put yourself first in line. Take some percentage. I don't care where you start. When I ran marathons, I didn't start by running 26 miles in my training. I started by running a mile. You just have to get started with the habit. And I had an attorney who gave me the same conversation. And he said, my bills come in, it's $6,500, but my revenue was only $6,000. I can't save any money. I said, here's how it'll work. If you treat yourself like you deserve to own some of this, let's say you put away $200. You're now short $700. What difference does it make? Except that now you have $200 that's yours. When he started doing that, his income rose because he saw he could have something from his work, not just cover the bills. So psychologically, this is the situation where you take the action first and then the results you need show up and the mindset changes. You can't have the change in attitude first until you take the action first.
And isn't that in reverse to how most people treat everything?
Oh, it's absolutely in reverse.
Like, I'll start doing X when. I'll start doing exercise when. I'll start saving when. I'll start making more money when. I'll start my side hustle when. Right? It's always like a conditional. And what you're saying is the action is what creates the mindset.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like looking at a bunch of logs in the fireplace and say, tell you what, you give me heat and I'll light a match. No, it doesn't work that way. And what ends up happening is when they've taken the action, then the mindset gets to shift. I had this false belief that the more money I made would solve the fact that I was short every month. I mean, when I started out as a school teacher, it was the 1970s. I made $6,500 a year, and I was short like $100 a month. So I went into sales and I doubled my income, and now I'm short $200 a month. So I figured if I just increase my income, I'll solve this. Well, after I passed $100,000 a year in income, and I'm short $2,000 a month, I realized making more money was not working. And the funniest thing is, this is a confession. I found a program called Debtors Anonymous, a 12-step program for people who couldn't handle money. And that's where I learned how to budget. It wasn't from being a certified financial planner. It was going into a 12-step program for debtors.
It's like spending money is an addiction. And
yeah.
You have to, right?
Or under earning or whatever. Yeah. So I treated it that way, and that did solve the problem.
It's very interesting because the first person I heard talk about this particular concept was Robert Kiyosaki.
Mm-hmm.
He always spoke about how, the more your income rises, the more your expenses will rise with it. And I didn't truly understand it until I saw my brother go from, earning X to actually doubling that. And still a couple of years later, he was still in debt and nothing was changing. And when I started making more money, I was already aware of that. And I try to be very careful about how much I spend. But I think I took it the other way. Where, we spoke about, before this interview, we spoke about the book Profit First, and how that book was eye-opening to me, where, I basically started putting away like 40% of what I make into a savings account. And I kind of took that to the extreme, and now I'm just being very vigilant about anything that's not a necessity. But I've been getting criticism from my friends with regards to this being like destructive.
Well, have they accomplished as much as you have?
Yeah, they're very accomplished, very smart, wealthy. They know money, they understand money, and they themselves also know what a budget is, and they got money tucked away. And I think the reason we were having the conversation is because they feel similarly, where they don't go around splashing money.